And so within this quiet mind, then please reflect on what is your definition of death? What does death to you mean, or dying? And what is going to happen when you die? So please write down your definition of death or dying. And what is going to happen when you die? And what I think will be really helpful is when you define it from your own experience of seeing friends, family die, or your own understanding of what is dying or death means to you, without any philosophical, technical definition or religious definition, but your own experience. And the second contemplation is again from the quiet mind. Within this quiet mind, or on the basis of this ground of peaceful, calm, and quiet mind, then we can clearly reflect on the second contemplation, that is, what is your greatest fear about death? Of course, when we begin to think about fear, there are perhaps plenty. But try to nail down the greatest fear. Let's not worry about small fears. We don't have enough time. Let's worry about the biggest fear, about death. And now we will move on to the third contemplation, which you have a handout. This comes from an inspiration from a young friend who I've just met recently. And so the question here is, if you were to live for 10 years, or in other words, if you are to die in 10 years, isn't that interesting way to look at it? If you were to live for 10 years, as opposed to if you are to die in 10 years, it certainly changes our perspective of time, urgency, and the priorities. So let's say we have only 10 years to live, or what would you change or stop from what you're doing right now in your daily life? What would you change? What would you like to see change or stop right now that you don't want to waste your life? You only have 10 years. Well, 10 years is long enough. And what is that? What is it that we are doing right now that we want to continue, further improve, flourish? So when you start writing in this column of 10 years, it's still pretty vague, You probably have lots of ideas. So our contemplation here is to write some of the main things, not every detail, but the main points. Like let's say if you have 10 years, you may think you have plenty of time to change a negative habit, right? You probably think, oh, okay, maybe in 5 years I can stop drinking or smoking. Right? When you talk about 10-year range. So you can contemplate on that. And then when you go to the next row, when it says if you have only 1 year to live, or die within a year, then what would you want to stop or change, or what would you like to continue? Then things that we do right now becomes much more vivid. And then 1 month, 1 week, and 24 hours. It's getting better. Right? Giving some exercise to our heart. Our hearts will start beating faster. So please contemplate and write your major thoughts. So we'll do this for about 10 minutes since we have a lot to write.